Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Downtime with Downstar, episode 192. And today we're here with Nick from Mayhem Metal Werkz. Nick, what's up, man?
Not much, man. How you doing?
Awesome, bro. It's great to have you on here, bro. We've been supporting you since early 2017.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate you having me too.
Of course, man. Of course. Like I said before we started the podcast, I'm trying to get everybody on in the community that's out there hustling and trying to make something out of nothing, you know, and you're definitely one of those people. So we're definitely glad to have you on.
Well, yeah, definitely appreciate you having me on. And like I said, noticing my hustle.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. So before we get started, can you give us a brief description of who you are and what you do?
Basically, I'm the owner operator of Mayhem Metal Werkz. I'm the only guy here. I do it all by myself. I do it out of my garage. But yeah, basically just make front rear bumper bars for, you know, I would say mostly mid to late 90s Hondas.
Got you.
You know, staple ones.
Yeah, so if anybody isn't familiar, make sure you guys go check them out on Instagram right now while you're listening so you get familiar with the product. It's at Mayhem Metal Werkz, and Werkz is Werkz. Correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so make sure you guys check them out. But yeah, back in early 2017, we picked up one for the Heavy in the Streets EG. And that was a hit, man. People loved it after we powder coated and put it on. It fit the build awesomely.
Well, yeah, man, I appreciate you doing that. And obviously the custom color that you put on there definitely freaking set that thing off.
Yeah, definitely loved it, man. So let's talk about it, bro. I was looking back at your Instagram, and it looks like May 2016 was when you started posting about the business.
Yeah, I mean, it started a little bit before then, but I was always like waiting for like a product that could like, you know, set me apart from a lot of the other guys that are just doing custom fab work, you know, because I've been doing it a long period of time. But finally, you know, I produced that thing and made it with Mike Blanky.
Okay.
You know?
Yes.
He had commissioned me to make one for his car because at that point in time, I was actually working for JDL Auto Design.
Got you.
And I was one of their fabricators there. I was making, you know, everything that they were doing there, you know, turbo manifolds, exhaust systems. But I was also making bumper bars for the FRS.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike was like, hey, you know, I've been really wanting one for my car. Would you be interested in making one? And I was like, yeah, but it would probably be like an off hours type thing. And made it, and then he's like, I know a couple people that would be interested. Would you be willing to sell it? And I was like, all right, make some picture. I don't know, kind of the rest was history, you know?
Isn't it funny how that happens sometimes?
Yeah, dude, it's freaking nuts. I mean, I've been in the Honda community since 2006.
Okay.
But, well, I mean, my first Honda, you know, let me step back a little bit. I got my first Honda in 2001.
Okay.
I was working at Best Buy. You're familiar with?
Yeah.
54 Superstition Springs, Mesa, Arizona.
Wow. What were you doing at Best Buy?
I was just car, not the install guy, but car audio. And then I moved over to home audio.
Got you.
And I was just selling stuff, and my boss was there. And at that point in time, I had a 64 Buick LeSabre, and my brother was driving it, and we used to drive around in third and neutral and rev it up because it had dual glass packs on it.
Yeah.
So I think it was super loud, and he went to go put it in neutral and ended up putting it in reverse and grenaded the transmission.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so I was looking for like a quick, you know, come up, and he had I think it was a 91 EF hatch with a dual cam ZC swap in it.
Okay.
And he was telling me all about it, like, oh, JDM swap, dude, like, you know, this motor doesn't make, you know, they didn't make it in the US, all this other stuff. And I was like, does it run and drive? He's all, yeah, but the AC doesn't work. And I was like, all right, how much do you want for it? He's all $1,300. And I was like, all right, dude, I'll do that. And I'll freaking put my Buick aside, and I'll, you know, have the Honda.
Yeah.
And at that point, I just freaking kind of got attached to it, started buying stuff for it, went to SRD a lot, I don't know if Superior Racing Division. I don't know if you're familiar. They're
Is
pretty
that
big.
a shop?
Yeah, they're pretty big out here in Arizona, out of Tempe.
Got you.
And I used to go to there and buy stuff for it. And then I was also really big into BMX. And I don't know what happened. I decided to sell it. Maybe I got bored about it or anything like that.
Uh-huh.
And kind of fell off the Honda scene, but was really big into bikes and didn't really care too much about a car because I was riding everywhere.
Yeah.
And apparently my brother got the bug, and he bought a 4-door, an EF, and he started doing stuff to that. And then he bought another 4-door, and that other one sat in the side. And then I was like, I need a car again. This was probably like 2004 or 5, something like that. And he's like, you can just have this thing. It was, dude, it was like, when he got it, I remember he got it. It was an 89, and it was maroon on maroon.
Oh, wow.
Like the horrible color.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, you can just have it. He stripped it, gutted it. I think he even had a hole in the dash because he lost a race. Pretty comical, you know?
Yeah.
And it came to me, and I bought like, what did I put in that thing? JDM D15B.
Got you.
Just another single cam. I paid like $300 for it off eBay. Did all the work myself. Threw it in there. And at this point in time, I wasn't working at Best Buy anymore. I was a custodian. Had that job for a good while, and just basically just drove the car. You know, it was rattle can black. You know, for my brother.
Yeah.
And then I started working. I wanted to do more stuff to it, and I knew a lot of the guys over at Full Race Motorsports. So a lot of the guys, not like the head guy, Jeff Racer, who started the company, but there were some other guys that kind of were there when he started it, like John Owens. I knew his younger brother because we rode bikes together, and we grew up in the same neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of other buddies, like CJ Toon, who was like my best friend at the time. He was working there. And Aaron Garcia. These are big names out here, at least. You know, a lot of the guys that were like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That a lot of people don't know too much about. I mean, a lot of people probably know about Aaron Garcia or John Owens, because John Owens branched off and started Future Fabrication.
Okay.
And Aaron Garcia was pretty big in the Honda scene out here, at least, and he's really known for like his quality of welds.
And this is which area? This is around Phoenix?
Yeah.
Got
yeah.
you. Okay.
I mean, Full Race Motorsports was out in Phoenix at the time. I was still living in Mesa, and most of the guys were, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to do more to my car, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to freaking, afford a lot of the parts. So I started, hanging around them. I think I made a traction bar, like off the clock. They like kind of made me pay for materials, and then they were like, this is how you weld. And I had like brief welding experience in high school, and it wasn't anything good. It was like stick welding and oxyacetylene, not stuff that you would necessarily use on a car, not that they're bad or good or anything like that, but so started hanging around there doing that. And then I started, kind of wanting to build a turbo kit for it.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point in time, I couldn't afford it. And really, the guys weren't really up for me building like full on turbo manifolds in their shop, while I was working there. So I was waiting for a spot to open up, and they did, and it was running the robot. They have a robot welder over there.
Okay.
And started doing that. And then, within 6 months, had a turbo kit built for my car, that I made. I had a couple of the guys who are more experienced welding do kind of things that are more important, like weld the intercooler end tanks on and stuff like that. But then while I was running the robot, in between each weld, you would have, I think it was roughly like 2 to 3 minutes. So they had a welder in the robot room, like a manual one. And I just freaking hopped on that thing in between welds and just started freaking, teaching myself basically, and have the guys come in and talk shit to me and tell me what I was doing.
So you had like 2 to 3 minute windows to get a quick weld down, and then you got to jump back on the robot?
Yeah.
Wow.
So basically what is you're just taking a constructed piece, that they tack together, and you fixture it on this, it's kind of like a lathe, and basically it's hooked up to the welder itself. And what it would do is it would do high amperage pulse. Well, actually, it was low amperage, but it would stay on it for quite a while. So basically, it would do individual beads as it was turned on the lathe. And while you're sitting there, you wouldn't really have much to do. I mean, I was kind of cutting collectors too, like doing the robot, letting that thing go off, and basically go over to the bandsaw, cut some collectors.
Yeah.
And then I'd run back and forth. But there was a lot of times because you're sitting there welding turbo manifolds literally all day on the robot welder. So if I had a second or two, I was sitting down on there, just sticking random pieces together, kind of messing around, and then it kind of like evolved into more. Like I started getting better at welding. Then they were wanting me to like starting to fit stuff together. So I started fitting stuff together, basically just trying to do whatever I could to work myself up the ladder to, not only, build more stuff for myself, but like, grow in the company, and grow the company too, because at that point in time, this was like 2006. I mean, they were like a staple in manifolds, like everybody had a full race ram horn, or there were people that were, building things that were very similar to a full race ram horn. And I mean, it's debatable whether they're the first ones to make it, but I think that you can definitely say that full race is one of the companies that like made it like a big deal, in the Honda industry.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of manifolds and a lot of welding that comes out of that small area in Arizona.
Yeah, dude, there's a lot of people that are coming around here. I mean, AFI was here at that one point in time. I think Peak Boost was out here at then too. And it's funny because like AFI was literally right down the street from Full Race, and we would have like barbecues like every weekend. And one of my good buddies that actually helped me out a lot, Aaron Teague, he had a shop over in what we call VTEC Alley. I don't know if you heard about it, but it's got like low caches over there. Passport is right around the corner. RC had a shop there at one point in time.
Yeah.
Like I said, AFI was there, and Teague brought them to the barbecue, and it was kind of almost like a Mexican standoff for a few seconds, but really good guys. And I ended up working with two of the guys later on, we're at JDL actually.
Got you.
But a lot of guys out here welding, turbo manifolds, I mean, the Honda scene is pretty big out in Phoenix itself.
Yeah. So when you're working at Full Race, you're learning how to weld, are you still biking at the same time?
Yeah, I was. I mean, I was pretty big into it. I mean, whether I was good or not, that was debatable, but it's something that I love to do and I really enjoyed. I mean, I was actually just talking to a buddy of mine that I worked at Full Race with, and we were just talking about like that period of time of our lives it was such a short period, but like it really made us who we were. Like, I mean, I started riding BMX like late junior high, or no, yeah. Well, 9th grade was our junior high in Mesa.
Gotcha.
At that point in time, but I was like really, I wanted to play football and be into football, but then I started picking up a bike during the summer, just kind of hanging out with friends, causing a ruckus in the neighborhood. And then I did, freshman football, and I realized how much I hated it. It wasn't as fun anymore because it was like more like serious. Obviously, the coaches wanted to win rather than have a good time.
Yeah.
Kind of, maybe it was all the punk rock I was listening to at that point in time, but kind of fell out of love with it, and then started getting into BMX, and then I just kind of, was doing that all through high school, and then I don't know, even up into my freaking early 30s.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I even now have my bike. I mean, I still ride. It's just harder to get out, and I don't know. It's Arizona, so it's also hot too.
Yeah. I was gonna ask that, man. I could just imagine being at the skate park, just riding around. Probably run out of energy real quick.
Dude, I can't even imagine. Like, it doesn't make sense to me, like, us riding bikes in the middle of the summer.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. Like, now, as a grown adult, and, like, my kids are out front playing too.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how are they doing that? Like, do you not care? Does it not matter to you at all? Like, the sun is just beating down on you and freaking, I don't know.
Then you got to look at it from a child's point of view. They have zero to worry about in their entire life, so they're just jazzed on whatever.
No, and I asked my daughter about it, just recently. I was like, is it hot to you out there?
Yeah.
Like, not trying to, like stink about it. I was like, what do you think? Kind of, like, feeling her out. She's like, I don't really notice it. She kind of, like, doesn't care.
Yeah.
I'm just, man, freaking live your life. I mean, I've done that, like, I remember one summer, me and my buddy CJ, who I worked at Full Race with, we were in junior high, and his mom somehow came across, like, a full-on, like, 2 or 3 pound bag of sour gummy worms, and lived on other ends of town. And he rode over to my house, and he's like, dude, I got these gummy worms. We should freaking go ride around and eat them. And it's like dead summer, dude. So we're talking triple digits. I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised if it was like, 110 plus.
Yeah.
And we're just around eating the sour gummy worms, thinking nothing of it. Hour later, dude, we're both just like, I'm exhausted, dude. I'm dead. Freaking feeling all sick and like, don't do anything anymore,
Yeah.
But
So you say you were into to punk rock. What were you listening to when you're biking?
Obviously a lot of Pennywise. It was like the big one. Melancholy, Face to Face, No Use for a Name. I mean, I was also listening to some poppy stuff too at that point in time, like Newfound Glory.
Yeah.
Goldfinger.
Got you. So all the Warped Tour main stages.
Yeah, dude. I mean, a good chunk of them for sure.
Did you ever go out to a Warped Tour?
No, dude. I really. What's funny is like, my wife. She was my girlfriend in high school. Actually, one of the first things I did for her, I don't even think we were dating at the time, is I made her a Melancholy mixed CD.
Yeah.
She still has it, dude. It's haggard, dude. Like, I tried gluing like a Melancholy freaking logo on the thing.
Yeah.
Just like totally destroyed. Like, you can't even play it anymore. It doesn't make it. But like, she still has it for like sentimental value. But like, I never went to like any punk rock shows until probably like my late teens, early 20s, and they weren't even punk rock shows. I was going to like, at that point I was starting to get into like screamo and stuff like that. So I saw like Atreyu, Under Oath, Scary Kids, Scaring Kids. They're like a local band here. Greeley Estates, they're a local band. Like, I didn't go to a lot of the shows, but definitely wanted to at that point in time. And it's funny, like years later, Melancholy, they're a Swedish band. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They're a Swedish punk rock band, and they came to Arizona in 2016, I think. And my wife and I bought tickets and went and saw them.
Sick.
So it was like, full circle. We were super pumped. And then just last year, we went and saw Face to Face and Lagwagon.
Yeah.
Dude, oh my gosh, man. Like, it was such a good time, and like just being there. And I really missed, like that environment of going to shows and, obviously the punk rock scene themselves. I wasn't getting in any of the mosh pits or anything like that, but it was funny, dude. Like, you would see old guys out there, mid to late 30s, maybe even early 40s, wearing earplugs, but they're in the mosh.
Yeah, man, that was such a good era, bro.
Dude, it was, man. I mean, obviously there's a lot of other stuff that I was listening to at that point in time, but like, oh my gosh, dude, like I try to like sneak it in when I got the kids in the car with me, and I'm like, you guys, what do you think of this stuff? You know, you gonna be into it? You know, not trying to force it on them, but appreciate my generation of music that I was into at that point in time. You know,
dude, so many similarities, bro. Like just last week, I put System of a Down on, and my son, he's 13, and I was like, dude, around your age, this is what I was listening to. And I put some Chop Suey on for him, dude. And he's like, I like this. I'm like, hell yeah. And then
and then I've gone as far as like obviously I've listened to a wide variety of stuff, but like at one point in time I had a Cradle of Filth you know, stage I was listening to, and my oldest daughter, she was probably, I don't know, maybe like 12 or 13 at the time. And I was just kind of joking around, and I put it on, and she's all, I really like this. You know, his voice, the lead singer, he can go from like the deepest, near the lowest lows to the highest highs, you know?
Yeah.
She's like, how do you even do that? You know, like she was so interested in it. And I was like, I don't even know, but I like it.
Man, those were awesome times, dude. Warped Tour, which ended not last year, but I believe the year before, if I'm not mistaken, it was the last year. I ended up taking my son and my nephew and my best friend. We all went in a big group. My wife went and stuff, but us four, we went into the mosh pit for the Chodos, dude. And it was so awesome, bro, because it's just me and my best friend, and then my son and my nephew. Like, we're behind them, and they're just freaking out, like in the mosh pit, just looking around, and everybody that's in the pit is just like cheering them on and just like, yeah, let's go. And it was so fun, dude. That's like some of my best memories of my childhood were just going to shows. And it's a shame that I don't even know if that's going to be around anymore in the future.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm hopeful about it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it may be, you know, what I want, you know, too. I want everything to go back to at least somewhat normal.
Yeah.
But I gotta stay positive about it.
Yeah, definitely.
And that things are going to somewhat, you know, turn to, I mean, it won't be 100%, but at least go to a point where you can start doing stuff like that again. Because, I mean, even like going to comedy shows, stuff like that, like, what are these guys going to do? You know, like, it's fun to go to that stuff. You know, it's fun to go to concerts. It's fun to go to, you know, even stuff like plays on Broadway and stuff like that. Those people, they're not going to just give up.
Yeah.
They're going to push forward, dude. They're going to find a way to make it, you know, relevant again. I mean, there's even guys, you know, that are doing like comedians that are doing like drive-in theaters. Mm-hmm. So you can go to a bar and they set up stages and they put up screens and you're at a live show.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, and that's in the midst of what's going on right now. I mean, you know, they're having the people stay in their cars. You know, if you get out, you obviously have to have a mask on. You're in the outside, so, you know, it's a lot different than being in like a concert venue.
Yeah.
You know? So I think people will find a way, you know?
Yeah.
Or at least
that was like on Jurassic Park, you know? It finds a way. Nature finds a way.
What a movie reference, dude.
But yeah, I saw that Bert Kreischer, he's been doing some outside events, and I've heard that it's been pretty successful.
Yeah. That dude, he's like, I listen to a lot of comedy podcasts.
Yeah.
And he's a really good salesman.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds cool. I mean, he actually went to Arizona, and my wife and I were considering it, but I'm not a huge fan of him, to be honest with you.
What do you, who do you like?
Dude, I like that group of guys, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, actually, I'm kind of a freaking ashamed to say a couple of the guys' names right now because they're in some deep waters. But, like, I've seen Chris D'Elia multiple times. You know, Brian Callen, I really liked. You know, like I used to listen to 10-minute podcasts all the time. It was him. It was Chris D'Elia, Brian Callen, and Will Sasso.
Uh-huh.
And it just, I don't know. With the time right now, I don't know. You know, it's tough to go back on those ones and listen to them because you hear some stuff. Now, whether they're right or wrong, I don't know. They definitely did some messed up things, especially Chris D'Elia. But you know, it's just like those guys. You know, Tom Segura, I've seen once, I think, but I probably listen to his podcast the most.
Him and his wife.
Yeah, Your Mom's House.
Yeah. I've heard a couple episodes, and they're pretty raunchy, huh?
Lately, they've been getting a little bit harder, but I don't really see all the raunchy stuff because I just watch it on YouTube. So I only get like their reactions, so it's not as bad for me.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. They're still pretty funny outside of the raunchy stuff. I do listen to them
for sure.
I do listen to the freaking Two Bears, One Cave with Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny, but it's mainly just Bert Kreischer saying dumb stuff and Tom Segura, you know, either making fun of him about it or like looking at the TV screen all like, all right, man. I guess if you're into that stuff, dude.
Bert will just go on for 5 minutes like, what the fuck are you saying?
Drinking freaking 60 ounce or 60 ounces of freaking Kool-Aid. He's all, it's low calorie. It's like, that's not good for you. Well, it's low calorie. It's still not good for you. It's hilarious. So those ones, and then Andrew Santino, Bobby Lee, you know, those guys. I'm pretty picky on that stuff for the most part. I listen to a lot of MMA stuff too, but I would say that's like a staple, like those things. I mean, what do you usually listen to? I mean, I'm always open to freaking new stuff, but it's just like I'm picky about like Joe Rogan. I would say Your Mom's House is probably the only one I listen to every episode, but like a lot of the other ones, I kind of just pick and choose.
As far as podcast wise,
yeah.
Probably one that I don't miss quite often would be the Brilliant Idiots with Charlemagne and Andrew Schultz.
Oh, okay.
That's a good one. Andrew Schultz, he's one of my favorite comedians. I love that dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's definitely pushing the boundaries for sure, and that's his idea with his comedy, which is cool. But it's just very interesting to watch because he says a lot of things that we're not supposed to say anymore, and it's kind of refreshing.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I mean, I think with all that stuff, it's with in context, and it's your intent.
Yeah, definitely.
Are you trying to be malicious towards somebody? You're trying to be freaking, put them down, and it's different in a friendly manner too. I mean, it's like you hang out with your friends and you joke around with them and you say stuff and you call them out for their crap, but I'm sure if you did it on a large platform, some feelings would definitely get hurt.
Yeah, man, there's so much stuff that I say inside my house that if it went out, dude, it would be a problem. But I just say it because it's funny. I'm trying to make my wife just laugh. I'm trying to make my friends laugh.
I hear you, dude. When we're around a campfire, there might be some things that I say that, are a little bit, hurt feelings towards everybody else.
Yeah, that's why I love comedy, man, and that's why I love podcasting, because I feel like both of those are pretty much the last mediums that we have to really express ourselves and not have to worry about, getting deplatformed or something like that. When granted, if I do say something that's crazy on the podcast, I have to deal with the repercussions from that. But I do also know our demographic, and I'm not dealing with the demographic that like a Joe Rogan is dealing with. Most of the people that listen to it have the same type of idea, or they understand what I'm saying, or they won't take it as seriously as if the podcast was more popular. Then you have more eyes on it, and then people who aren't familiar with me or the background or what we're trying to say or even the context of it, So that's kind of why I like this, still the earlier stages of the podcast, because once it does get to that mainstream part of podcasting, then I'm gonna definitely have to worry about things that I say. But fuck it, deal with it later.
Are you gonna freaking start censoring yourself? Or are you gonna start changing your opinions on things?
Nah, probably not. I'm good.
Yeah, dude, and I don't think a lot of people should. Like obviously times are different right now, and it's a lot harder. So you definitely need to be careful what you say and how you say it. But I mean, there's good people and there's bad people out there. Like it's always going to be like that. So I mean, as long as you're not doing it, in a mean way towards people, then
yeah,
it's all good. Like I mean, you even see it like. I don't know. You see it obviously a lot on podcasts and stuff like that, where they like take like a small like segment of what someone's talking about, and then they'll get like whole conversation. They take like 3 to 5 minutes out of it rather than like a 10 to 20 minute part of the conversation. And it can really like any random person who can look at it, especially a headline of it, and be like, "Oh gosh, dude, I'm writing that dude off freaking 100%." Completely. I don't even want anything to do with him anymore. Bad person,
Okay, everybody, we're going to take a quick break for our sponsors, and we'll be back in 1 minute. Hilto Automotive has been a supporter of Downtime with Downstar for quite some time now, and we know that they're in your corner, that they got your back, whether you're under a car or you just need some help. No matter your race, creed, engine platform preference, that motto stands true. Accord, Civic, S2000, any Honda, any customer, anywhere in the world, with equal respectful treatment for all. We at Downtime with Downstar share these values, and as a special gift to Downtime listeners, they are giving you guys a special deal. Using the Let's Deal function at the top of HiltoAuto.com, you'll find an option to request a special quote. Submit a special quote using the key phrase, "I'm down with Downstar." Once again, the key phrase is "I'm down with Downstar" for a special deal on whatever you're shopping for. And of course, if you need any help, Marcus from Hilto is available by call, text, email to help out. Hilto wishes you guys a happy, healthy, and safe 2020. So I know a lot of you guys are questioning, what is this whole cult thing that's going on? Well, we at Downstar are starting our own cult. What is it? Are you going to have to drink punch? Are we going to sleep with your wives? No, none of that yet. But what it is a direct number to us, meaning me, Frank Downstar. I'm the one that's answering the text. So please, right now, text us, 818-403-3473. You're just going to have to follow a couple simple steps, get added to your contacts, and text us. Let us know what you're thinking of the episode so far. If you guys have any questions, anything like that, anything, even want to talk about life, man, just shoot us a text. We're here to help you guys out, and we're here to have some fun, man. And that's what the cult's about. So come join the cult. 818-403-3473. No charges. We're not going to be selling your info. No bullshit like that, guys. Just straight up fun. So make sure you guys shoot us a text right now. 818-403-3473. And enjoy the rest of the episode. Have a good day. So speaking of podcasts and comedy podcasts, what about Joey Diaz?
Like I said, dude, I hate to say it, but I'm kind of picky, dude. Like, I'll listen to him on stuff. Like I was actually just listening. I only got maybe like 30 minutes to an hour in on the one that they just did with Joey Diaz, Redman, and Rogan. He's hilarious. I love hearing his stories. There's another one that I listened to. It's called The Honeydew. Mm-hmm. It's Ryan Sickler. He's a friend of Tom Segura, and he was originally doing it out of the YMH studios. And he has had Joey Diaz on there for like the saga, dude, like 5 or 6 episodes where Joey Diaz is just basically telling his life story. And we're 4 hours in, and he's still only like 21. Like just like, I don't know. Shit. I like it, but I guess I'm not a fan of his comedy, but then again, I don't think I've actually really listened to it, but nothing's really like put me in that position where I'm like, yeah, I got to check out this freaking stand-up, like. So, yeah. I mean, that's kind of how I feel about him. I mean, he's freaking hilarious, and he has no filter, and I freaking love it. Like, he what? So, like I said, I'm big into MMA,
Mm-hmm.
and there's this chick that came over. I think it was Mackenzie Dern.
Mm-hmm.
She's like a Brazilian jiu-jitsu, big player, and she came into the UFC and got a win. And Joey Diaz said something about her crotch smelling really nice. He got in trouble for it, but it was like, yeah, that guy's pretty funny.
Yeah. No, I love Joey Diaz. We actually have a nice comedy club here in Oxnard. It's called Levity Live. So they have
Okay.
one here, and then they have one in, I think it's called Nyack, somewhere in New York. But I guess it's a good one up there as well. So like Joe Rogan's come down here, Joey Diaz has come down here. A lot of big comedians. I think even Andrew Schultz. I seen Andrew Schultz right there. But yeah, that's definitely one thing that I do miss. Just thinking about it right now, man. If this whole COVID thing wasn't going on, we would definitely be at a lot more comedy shows.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, actually, I have tickets right now to go see Andrew Santino. And we were supposed to go at the beginning of the month, and they pushed it back to December. But the comedy show that they have out here, obviously the Tempe Improv is a big one, but then they have Stand Up Live.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife and I, obviously want to go and do stuff and, but be safe as possible. They have they set in the email all this stuff that they're, going to have assigned seating, and you're going to be X amount apart, no parties bigger than 10, stuff like that. Basically everything that they're putting in the guidelines. But for whatever reason, I don't know if it was Stand Up Live or Andrew Santino who decided to postpone it. So I think they're now like December 12th or something like that is where we're supposed to be. But, we've been to, my wife and I, we've been to a lot of comedy shows, even ones that because they get free tickets out a lot around here. If it's somebody that's kind of like lower level, we've been to a couple for but like Theo Vaughn, I don't know if you, his podcast, like we've seen him live. Pablo Francisco, who's like a big guy, like back in the day, saw him live. We've seen a good handful of guys. It's fun to go to those. Now that you're an adult, you get a couple drinks and you get a meal, and you get a show at the same time too,
Yeah.
Hopefully that stuff comes back, man. I mean, like I said, I'd like it to have at least a little bit of normalcy.
Yeah, it's gonna change, dude. I'm just looking forward to January, February-ish, because I know that everything is it's bubbling up and it's gonna explode for election. That's just what it is. Yeah. It's gonna happen, and whether it goes one way or another, there can be some discrepancies about who won. Got to recount or whatever. So I don't even see us seeing a winner of the election until late 2020. But once that whoever is going to be the next president or what have you happens, then things are going to start to get back to normal, because the new president, whoever it's going to be, that's going to be their thing, is they want to change things around so it makes them look good. That's the way that I see it. So I don't really see us getting anywhere close to normal until probably after November for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you. I'm not like a big political guy or anything like that, but I could definitely see that being what's going to push us one way or the other, at least,
Yeah, definitely. So let's jump back into it, bro. 2000, you said about 2006 is when you were working at Full Race?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So then you're working on the robot, you're doing a little on the side. Are they noticing your hustle that you're putting into it, this extra work?
Oh, I wasn't doing anything on the side at that point in time, but I mean, it was definitely getting noticed for the hustle. I mean, I would say at least within a year of working there, I was doing close to everything.
Cool.
Because at that point in time, it was a really big changing point for the company. I mean, we had hired on, Jeff Racer had hired on a guy to basically whip us into shape, because at that point in time, 2006, 2007, the company, I think they opened in 2002, if I believe correctly. And they're literally just dudes. They were doing it out of their backyard. They've had a shop, and then they just started bringing their friends, Jeff bringing his friends over from New Jersey. And then John Owens was bringing, his friends and his brother's friends in from Mesa, to kind of help out. I think I even worked there a month with no pay, just because I wanted to like get in there, I just wanted to freaking be part of the team, build stuff for my car. But I was hanging out with all the guys that I grew up with, went to high school with, rode bikes with, and we all still rode bikes. I mean, there was Nopi Nationals around those time, and Full Race would always do an open house. And I think it was right before I came on, or maybe like right after I got there, we had a ramp at the shop, a little 5-foot kicker. And, during the open house, they would open it up, we'd have a big car show, big barbecue, and we'd ride the ramp and stuff like that. And, just hang out and have a good time. But it was literally just like a bunch of dudes wearing freaking cutoff jeans, Van shoes, not really caring about this, gauges in their ears, hair was dyed black, just like we were just having fun and making good products. And Jeff wanted to take it to the next level, which is completely understandable. And he brought in this guy, and a lot of the guys left.
Yeah.
Because they were starting to, kind of crack down on us not making our hours, and like kind of you have to produce so much during the day. Like it progressively got to a point where like, the company itself had to produce X amount of manifolds within a week's time or whatever. So a lot of the guys didn't like it, but I was still there, and I was still enjoying what I was doing. I mean, before, like I said, I was a custodian. I even worked at a bike shop for, many years as a part-timer, and then I turned into a full-timer. And I was actually doing that. I was doing part-time bike work while I was custodian. And then once I quit the custodian, I was doing full-time at the bikes, and then I got the job at Full Race. So I was actually working midnight shift at Full Race for, I don't even know, a good chunk of time. Not like over a year or anything like that, but so I was working full-time at the bike shop, 10 hour, or get in there at 10, leave at 6, and then go to Full Race and be there from like 7 to like 3 a.m. Running the robot collectors, fucking around, doing whatever. So
what was your drive for doing that?
What's that?
What was your drive for doing that?
I don't know, dude. I don't know if my parents, because, I was what do they call that? A freaking latchkey, like freaking my parents, were always working, my grandma was there to watch us, and maybe I just saw something in that, and I just always wanted to work. I mean, I'll be honest, I wasn't doing much with my money, dude. I was blowing it on dumb stuff, having fun, or freaking car parts, and I don't know. I was kind of not really knowing what I wanted to do, and I saw maybe an avenue with welding and stuff like that. And I saw Full Race, like, as a really big company at that point in time. I was seeing like ads in magazines and stuff like that. And you would look through and see someone with a turbo manifold from Full Race, all over the US and all over the world, really, around that point in time. So I don't even know. Realistically, it was just, now that we're talking about it, it was really just like all my friends were doing it. Literally, we just got there, and it's not to say that we were producing some of the sickest stuff at that point in time, at least from my eyes. And, granted, bread and butter at Full Race was turbo manifolds, downpipes, turbo accessories, stuff like that. Not like full-on kits, but like pretty much kits, aside from like fuel injection and engine management. And we were just literally just like fucking around all day. I hope Jeff doesn't get too mad about it. We were like shooting bottle rockets off in the freaking shop while we were making turbo manifolds, dude. Like
Hey,
at one
but
point in time, what's that?
I mean, but things are getting done. That's all that matters. You know,
Oh,
that's
dude,
how I would look at it sometimes. Just things are getting done.
dude, yeah, for sure. You know, I mean, a lot of the guys, they may not have put their 40 hours in, but like we were still making products and shipping them all over the freaking world. You know, like we were taking care of a lot of the guys, and a lot of guys that were actually leading like the Honda industry when it came to like drag racing, you know,
Yeah.
and then it turned into like, I think right when Nopi started to die off is when they started getting into drifting.
Hmm.
So I don't know if you know Forrest Wang, you know, he was a big, you know, he's still a big guy. He started coming over. He had a full race kit. He was from Hawaii. I'm not sure how long he was there for, but then he just started hanging around the shop. And he started bringing his friends in from Hawaii. And it was, you know, pretty much the place to be and building all sorts of crazy stuff. You know, Justin Pollock was there. You know, he had his or his RX-7 at that point in time. These are like really big guys in like the drifting industry.
Got you.
You know, really big, you know, they compete with like the, you know, basically all those guys. Like, I can't even think of the names off the top of my head, you know, but like Forrest Wang and Justin Pollock, they were just hanging out, but we were still just like punk kids, you know, messing around, doing dumb stuff, but producing like state-of-the-art stuff. And Jeff kind of wanted to, you know, kind of shape the business up, and I get that. And I stayed there. I mean, I was there for 7.5 years, you know?
Wow.
So, you know, once they brought the new guy in, you know, a lot of the guys left because they just didn't like that structure. But that was just their personality,
Yeah.
you know? I mean, a lot of the guys I'm still friends with to this day, but they left around that point in time. Maybe because of the upper management, but also for personal reasons, probably. And they started to kind of branch off, and then I kind of almost, in a sense, like took their roles on.
Gotcha.
Once they left. It was funny, like me, a lot of people aren't going to know this name unless you're a local guy, but Joey Lumpkin, we were hired on like a week apart from each other, and he's this dude from freaking Bisbee, Arizona, super far south. Like you can see the Mexican border from his house.
Gotcha.
It's pretty. He got hired on, and one of the best welders, we used to call him Joe Bot because he would weld like the robot, you know?
Yeah.
And we got hired on around the same point in time, and we just kind of stuck around while a lot of the people started either, you know, leaving because of upper management, or, you know, some of them unfortunately got fired too. But, you know, we just basically filled their shoes as the guys that were like prototyping a lot of the stuff, you know, doing the final welds on everything, doing final inspections on stuff before they went out the door, you know?
Yeah.
It definitely grew into a company that it was kind of like making a lot more money, obviously, but still kind of held that standard for high quality, you know, turbo parts.
Got you. So what year did you end up leaving there?
2013, I think, was when I left.
Got you. Did you ever go to any of the events, like any where they would have a booth at?
We would go to SEMA, but we weren't part of the booth. I mean, we were going, you know, a lot of the times, or at least when we did go, like, we were just kind of there to kind of roam around, check the stuff out, but also hang out in Vegas, you know?
Yeah.
Doing some extracurricular activities, you know?
You know, I remember in 2012 at H Day, I'm not sure if it was a full race booth, if you guys were even there, but I did get a t-shirt. It was probably one of the coolest automotive t-shirts I ever got, with the Jesus' mom or something on it with the turbo.
And yeah, with the people in the center, that is still like, I think they actually stopped producing them maybe like a year or two ago, for whatever reason. Yeah. But it's funny, they do. I still am really good friends with Full Race and, you know, the guys that work there. they actually, for Mayhem, they do my powder coating.
Got you.
So I go over there maybe, at least once a week, to pick stuff up and drop stuff off. And when they were getting rid of them, I was like, let me grab a couple. And I grabbed a couple, and I got some smalls, and my kids now wear them to school. Like, when they were going to school, it's just like, teenage kids going to freaking little junior high wearing freaking, Jesus, the turbo in the center of it, What is it? A Sacred Heart, placed a Sacred Heart with a turbo,
I love it, man.
Really one of the best shirts, the guy who designed that, Chris Westcott, he was, welder, fabricator, stuff like that. But then he started getting really big into photography. Now he's actually a hot shot, for the fire service. But he designed that whole setup for that shirt. And it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, you still see one and you laugh, obviously. It's freaking hilarious. But it is like one of the coolest automotive t-shirts that you'll see out there.
Definitely. If anybody has a large out there, please hit me up, because I would love to have another one of those. Sick, bro. So 2013 you get out of there. Is this when you move over to JDL?
Not exactly. Around like 2011, that's when I started like really doing side work, around 2011. My wife and I had our first kid together in 2008, and I started to, kind of really bust my ass for the most part, because she was working for a short period of time, but then it got to a point, I think the company that she worked for caved in. And then it's funny, at that point in time, she worked for another welding fabrication company, nothing to do with automotive industry. They were in Intel, but just funny that she's working for a welding fabrication company. I'm working for a welding fabrication company.
Yeah.
But it caved in, and then she was just basically a stay-at-home mom. And, for those couple of years, we were like really like, struggling really hard. And then an opportunity came up where I was going to start doing some side work, and it was actually for Aaron Teague, TSR. Teague Speed Racing. He worked full race with me. I can't remember when he exactly left. Might have been like 2009-ish. And he had his own shop over on VTEC Alley doing like mechanic work or building engines. Or, he's like Joe Locash's mechanic, for the race car. And now he's the driver. But at that point in time, he was doing a lot of car builds. And he needed someone to just basically come in and do a charge pipe, connect some dots here and there, down pipes, wastegates, stuff like that. So I started doing that on the side. And luckily, at that point in time, Full Race was doing 410s. So I would have Friday off, and I would basically just use my Friday to stay at his shop and start doing stuff on the side. And I started getting the idea of like possibly, I don't know if I was thinking about fully like doing my own thing, but I was like, maybe I should just get a name with what I'm doing. I was talking to Teague about it, and obviously, hey, he had his name and he was doing stuff, and I was like, what if I kind of started sliding stickers into people's cars as they were leaving your shop when I did some work on them, And he's like, fine. And I started Mayhem then in 2011, at least just making stickers and just kind of messing around, playing around with the idea of doing something about it. But then I started getting really burnt out at Full Race with just, being there that long, and I didn't feel like I could grow anymore. As the guy in the back, just building turbo manifolds and stuff like that, like, I wasn't getting much stimulus out of it, So I told myself, my wife and I, we bought our first house in 2013 at the beginning of it. And I told myself, I'm going to give myself 6 months and I'm going to find a job somewhere else. And basically gave myself a deadline for October. And I had really nothing lined up at that point in time. I was still doing stuff on the side, but I got like literally the the Thursday that I left Full Race, I had a job lined up at this place. It was called Flat Out Motor Works. Basically, they were just like they were a mechanic shop, but they were like really big into like SCCA racing, stuff like that, autocrossing. And they needed a guy to come in and kind of do odds and ends stuff, cage work, which I was not too familiar with, but I was definitely interested in. I'm probably like helped out on maybe like 1 or 2 cages, you know, while I was at Full Race. And I started working there, and it was even like I was doing really cool stuff, but it was even worse. Like I just didn't get along with the guys that worked there. You know, I didn't really hang out with them a lot. Like it was just like I was just coming in and doing my work and like leaving. And I wanted to get out of there, so I started talking to Jesse. I think this was around the time where I actually started like really having conversations with him. I didn't really know him at that point in time, and I can't remember how it even happened. I just went over to his shop. Oh, because I was doing Teague still on Fridays, and he had a shop. He was doing JDL over there, and I just randomly started talking to him and telling him that I wanted to leave the place I was at because I was just over it. And he's like, "Yeah, dude, we need another guy down here to like kind of sit next to their other fabricator and just kind of work all day." And I was like, "Dude, I can freaking do that shit. Like, I'll do anything and everything you want me to do, you know?" Like, so I went over there and started working for there, but I was still doing 410s and still helping Teague out on the side. And then I was there for 2.5 years and did some really freaking cool stuff. And it was cool to do, like, you know, at Full Race, like, it was obviously their bread and butter is Hondas, but they were doing like 2JZ manifolds. They were doing stuff for the, you know, Mazda 3. Occasionally we'd get like a rotary turbo manifold, stuff like that. But like at this point in time, Jesse had an FRS, and he was obviously still doing Honda stuff, but he was also doing Volkswagen stuff, which Full Race wasn't doing, like the VR6. And then he had an FRS at that time and was producing turbo manifolds for those. So it was like the same thing, but it was like completely different, you know, because of the way that everything's all set up. You know, the turbo manifold swoops up in front of the motor, you know, right behind the radiator, and it sits up high, and then it, you know, you got a downpipe that goes down, and it has to kind of snake through the chassis and stuff like that. And really did some freaking sick stuff there. Like started doing like pie cuts around that time, and titanium, you know, welding was my first time there. Like I did a lot of stuff that I didn't do at Full Race that was still like stimulating to me, you know, because it was the same. Yeah. So I was comfortable with it, but it was different in the fact that I could kind of get creative. And Jesse was really cool about that too. And that's what kind of sucked about the Full Race thing too. It was like production style. Yeah. Not that they're saying that there's a problem with that, but like it could really like wear on somebody mentally if that's what they're doing all day, every day. Definitely. You know, day in. It's like Groundhog's Day, dude. You come in, I'll do the same thing every single time. And granted, I was at Full Race, like, you know, one of their higher welders. So I was doing everything, you know, like I'd switch over from intercoolers to downpipes to turbo manifolds, you know. At that point in time, we were doing something with the word traction bars, but it was different at JDL because he was doing a lot of custom work too. And Jesse and his mom, Deb, they're really good people. And they, you know, Jesse's got a really good head on his shoulders, and they produce some really freaking dope stuff for the FRS. And now I think they're doing stuff for like the Mazda Miata. Obviously, you know, like I said, the Volkswagen, stuff like that. But I was there for 2.5 years, 2 years maybe. And one of the guys that I worked at Full Race with started, was kind of had his own business, but he was doing stuff for this company, Science of Speed, out of his shop for them. And he was like getting tired of it. He was actually getting some help. He was having some health issues. So he was kind of going to step away from the Science of Speed, and they wanted to bring someone in full time to build stuff under their umbrella. And I was still doing stuff for VTEC at this point in time. Actually, I was working a couple different jobs. I was working at JDL, going to TEEGs some nights of the week, and then working at another company, Black Market Racing. They're out here. They do like a lot of, I would say, they do like a wide variety of stuff, but most of their stuff I would say is like Corvette, CTSV.
Gotcha.
And I was just going in there, they were kind of getting their foot in the door, and these were guys that had worked in Full Race's office as like salesmen, and then they started their own company. They came from Oklahoma, Jeremy and Austin, and then they were trying to get more fab work done, so I was just there kind of helping out, kind of getting everything going. And then so I was still doing TEEGs, which is kind of Mayhem at the time, and then Black Market and JDL. And then I was kind of wanted to get to a point where I was kind of only doing one job rather than working 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
So Science of Speed came along, and it was an opportunity that I really couldn't pass up. It was like I was going to be there to build the fab room. Obviously they had a good amount of products that they produced already, but they were looking to expand on that. And this was the end of 2015. So it was right before the new 2017 NSX was coming out. So at that point in time, I was able to produce a lot of the stuff, and I like doing that. I like doing the custom designing. Obviously is cool and everything like that, but I like to make things to where they become like the process of becoming a production style product,
Mm-hmm.
Like you get pictures for it, all the steps, like it was really structured and set up by the guy before me to like make it to where like if somebody random were to come in, say I had to take a day off, and we could just hire another fab guy, you could basically just be like, here's an assembly manual on how to build this product, and these are all the steps.
Got it.
So I was able, and actually a lot of people don't know this, I'm still at Science of Speed full time, producing stuff for them. But like right when I came on, it was such a great time because they were having their 15th year anniversary, and Acura was having the 25th anniversary of the NSX. So 2017, I think that was the year. Was it 2017? It might have been 2016.
Mm-hmm.
We actually partnered up with Acura and built a second gen NSX for them in their booth. It was called the NSX Dream Project. It's a pretty sick car.
Was that for SEMA?
Yeah, it was for SEMA.
Wow, very cool.
And now they still actually, it's at our shop right now because we're doing some stuff to it. We just made a new valved exhaust that works with the factory electronic valve motors. So they brought it back. We cleaned up a few parts. It's got like some mild aero on it, some obviously kind of aggressive Advan wheels, and like wings and stuff like that. But it's got our downpipes on it. It's got our iLift, which is like a partner company of Science of Speed, which is an airlift system, sensor operated, that basically when a car pulls up to a speed bump or a high curb, it'll lift the car up so you can drive up on it without destroying your bumper.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got a lot of good stuff on it, but it's a really cool car, and it was really cool to build stuff for that and then actually be able to go to SEMA, that year.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't been to SEMA in forever.
Yeah.
To actually be like a big part of obviously a company that's really large, and at the SEMA show too on top of it, it was like in their actual Honda booth, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, very cool, dude. Hell yeah, man. Damn, you're a hustler, bro. You're always busy. So
yeah, I don't know. And I still haven't even talked about Mayhem.
Yeah, so let's fast forward to, so Michael asked you to build the crash bar. Um, when do you notice that this is turning into something, that this is turning into a business?
almost like almost like right away. You know, he had a couple of friends that said that they were interested in one. Um, George, who obviously is a really big staple out here with the Gold EG,
Mm-hmm.
he wanted one. And then Abraham and Israel, who are brothers, they have the Not DAP EG hatch. Uh, they had bought the first two that I've ever sold, you know, or the first three, because the brothers bought two, and then George bought one. And at that point in time, I was like, "Damn, maybe I can do something with it." And thankfully, Mike, who took me to the first IBOC meet and allowed me to have his car there, like, I owe a lot to him, because obviously this was something that he wanted for his car, but he made those connections, and he was like, "Dude, you should like make this a product. Like, I guarantee people will freaking buy this thing if you produce them." So that was kind of it. I mean, I started just kind of selling them on my personal Instagram, and I think actually you bought one from me when I was just doing it off my personal.
Yeah.
That I don't really use that much anymore. Dick Nenman, and that's kind of how it all started. I was just taking orders through there, doing it on PayPal and stuff like that, and then I built my own website. Late 2016, I think, and then started adding stuff to it. Other people were wanting different chassis and stuff like that, and then it kind of snowballed from there. And it's pretty crazy. I mean, I still only have like a handful of chassis and a handful of products, but like, I'm super busy, dude. Like, outside of, obviously having a full-time job and, big family, obviously they need my, attention and support and stuff like that. But, it's something that I would like to keep growing and potentially add some more chassis and some more products to it. But for right now, it's like, it's a lot.
Yeah. You ever think about making it your full time?
Yeah, I do. It definitely might be something in the future. I mean, obviously, I'm a lot different than I was when I was younger. So it wasn't kind of shooting from the hip so much.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I'm making the right steps, and I want to make a good product too. I don't want to be freaking, rushing to finish stuff and things not fit properly and it has horrible quality, So it definitely would be something that I would like to do. I don't know when. Obviously, with the pandemic that's going on right now, it's kind of weary.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm really getting to that point where I'm itching to want to spend more time with my family.
Got you. Yeah.
I mean, my oldest is, she just turned 16 earlier this month.
Wow.
And, she's going to be gone soon.
Yeah.
So although I do enjoy and love the product that I produce at Science of Speed, and I love the guys there, I've been there 5 years now. Mayhem would definitely be something that I would like to do full time,
Yeah. Hell yeah. Do you have any other idea of different products that you would offer if you had the time?
Mostly just chassis stuff, but I mean, I would be willing to do anything and everything, but I don't know. I'm kind of weird now on like custom stuff, I really don't like to do a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot of my time, and I could be a complainer or a whiner or whatever one would think, but you don't get a lot out of, personally for me, custom fab work. I mean, you get a handful of stuff where like you're doing really cool products for really cool cars and really good people, but like a lot of the times you're dealing with people that have high expectations, of like wanting to produce something, but like want it to be done within a shorter period of time. And obviously they don't want to pay as much.
Yeah.
I mean, it could just be the people that I'm hanging out with or whatever, or that get sent my way. But also on top of it, at least right now, I'm just so swamped with stuff that like I don't want to take any more time away from my family.
Yeah.
But you know, more chassis stuff, 100%. You know, like stuff that people that, you know, like I've been doing already, kind of all over the world can purchase for their car, and they can do it off a website. And you know, I mean, it sucks that the interaction is just an email or whatever, but there's some good people that I've met, you know, through just selling them stuff and then seeing them at, you know, iBock or, you know, just talking through them through the internet.
Yeah.
That I would really produce some more stuff. You know, I mean, chassis stuff obviously is a big thing, you know, but I can do anything and everything. You know, turbo manifolds, you know, obviously that stuff, exhaust systems, roll cages, kind of. I have a Jeep too, so that's kind of what I've gone into since, you know, having kids. You know, I have a CRV, you know, 5-speed all-wheel drive that I think that I'm going to do something with, but I probably won't because I'd like in stock. So Jeeps might be something that I would get into. You know,
it's
I mean,
huge market.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I joke about it because realistically, I'm a Toyota guy when it comes to trucks.
Yeah.
You know, I've had a handful of Toyotas. Actually, you know, I bought my wife a Tundra a couple years ago. The Jeep was just kind of like fell in our lap. You know, my father-in-law gave it to us, and it's kind of grown into something of its own. But they're like Jeeps themselves. They're like the Hondas of the off-road world.
Yeah.
You know, you can like so much stuff for them. That, you know, the parts are, you know, so many companies make stuff, make different stuff, make the same stuff. You know, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It's definitely a big market. It definitely could be something I could do, but I don't know, man. Like I said, I kind of like shooting from the hip. Obviously, I like to be strategic as much as I can with that stuff, but I'm willing to go wherever, dude. Like, I like to fly at the seat of my pants.
Yeah.
You know, take it as it goes and build whatever and produce whatever.
I love it, man. You know, ever since I've seen the brand, I've loved the quality of it. You know, just all the attention to detail that that actually is on the bar. You know, like I said, we have the one on the Heavy and Streets EG right now. It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
It's awesome to see a new product come out. You know, I remember when the product came out, there was nothing like it on the market, and those are exciting things, man. And just to see that snowball into a business is an amazing thing, man. And I look forward to your success in the future, dude. For sure.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much. I mean, you play a part in this as well too. You know, I mean, you have it on your car so other people can see it. I mean, it does go under a bumper, so it doesn't get seen as often.
Yeah.
But I tell the owners, you know, at least you know it's there.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, man.
So, you know, it's definitely been fun, and I really enjoy it. And honestly, like, it's brought me so much joy because I kind of fell out of love with a lot of the scene, you know, just being the guy in the back, you know, like you don't get to see a lot of the customers. You don't get to, you know, partake in a lot of the events, you know, like you don't get to interact with, you know, somebody who actually physically gets the product, you know, and that Mayhem itself has allowed me to do that, you know, like 2016 was when I started getting serious, and I think that's when I got my LLC. And then I started, you know, when did that go? So the first year I went to iBock was 2017. I'd never been, you know, I had Hondas over the years and always wanted to go. And I think that was the first time I actually met you.
Mm-hmm.
And it was obviously a little bit after you had purchased the bar. And I was like, you know what, dude, like I went there with just like t-shirts in my backpack. And I was like, I want to be here next year. And 2018 was the first year that I attended, you know, iBock had a booth. and kind of set up shop. And I, I hope that stuff comes back. But that's like, I'm sure dude, you go to a freaking bunch of shows. I've only been to one, actually two technically, but the same one. And just being able to meet people and talk to them, even if I don't sell them something, I don't care about that, dude. Like the Honda community, when you're interacting face to face rather than over social media or even forums back in the day, it's completely different when you're face to face with somebody and being able to talk to them and see their expression and put a face with a screen name or a face with a car. It's a total different experience, and I'm very thankful for all the people that I've met, through Mayhem, and just even over social media. There might be some that I might not ever see, but I talk to people all the time from freaking New York. There's guys in Canada that I talk to a lot. Just Australia, just freaking crazy, man.
Dude, that's awesome, bro. Such a good story, man. And it just shows once again the hard work really pays off. You just got to take those chances and make it happen. And you're making it happen, bro.
Trying.
Hell yeah,
that's
man.
all
So before we get out of here, man, where can people find you at, and where can they purchase some of these chassis products that you offer?
Mayhem Metal Werkz on everything. Werkz is spelled WERKZ. Mainly just Facebook and Instagram. And then obviously mayhemmetalwerkz.com is where I sell everything. Obviously, those are the best places, but they can reach out to me on whatever, set people up with whatever they need,
Perfect, dude. Yeah, I'm definitely going to need to hit you up. I need to get a bar for the right-hand drive for the rear. I've talked to you about you for that a while ago, but I need to pick one of those up, man. But Nick, it was awesome to hear your story, man, and hear the background of the brand, dude, and I wish you the best.
Well, thanks, man. I really appreciate that, and thank you for having me on. Sorry if I ramble a little too much, dude. But
no, dude, it's cool just to talk to people, especially people like yourself that I'm not really familiar with your past, and how the business started, and then just to see so many similarities just from the music, the comedy, the biking, and even you being a janitor, dude. I was a janitor back in the day too. It's awesome, man. It's and that's why I love doing the podcast, just to be able to talk to people like yourself and just to hear about, how your journey started. And it's motivating, not only to me, but to people listening. And that's one of the reasons why I like to have people like yourself on, because there's a lot of younger entrepreneurs listening and maybe them thinking that they could have a business in the future. It doesn't even register to them. But then when they hear stories like yourself that, hey, I just didn't know how to weld. I learned how to weld, and now I have my own business. And all it takes is that you got to put that time in.
That's really it. You just got to freaking kind of, just kind of hold on, dude. Like, you don't know what's going to lead you to what. I just wanted to turbo my car, at that point in time. And now it's like to a point where like I have a legitimate career, fabricating and welding and being able to support, a family off it. It's just, you don't think about that stuff, especially when you're younger, but it's pretty crazy, and, thank you, dude. Again, for the platform, for allowing me to come on here. It's an honor, dude. Like, like you said, hearing your story, I think, would you do that Heavy in the Streets?
Mm-hmm.
Would you do like a promo or like a documentary or something like that?
Kind of like it was through Four Bangers. They did a small documentary on us back in 2016.
Yeah. So when you were talking about Best Buy, I was like, oh shit, other guy.
Best Buy brethren, bro. I love it, man. Hell yeah, Nick.
Started freaking Hondas for us. So.
I love it, bro. Dude, if you ever need anything from us, always feel free to reach out, man. I'm always here to help out.
Oh, thank you, man. I greatly appreciate that.
Of course, man. And huge thank you for you to be on the show. Make sure you guys check out Mayhem Metal Werkz, WERKZ. We're going to have it listed below. And please make sure you check out our sponsor, which is Heel Toe Automotive. Been around since 2002, helping you guys with all the Honda parts that you need. If you listen to the commercial, you know how to get hooked up. So check them out, HeelToeAuto.com, or on Instagram at Heel Toe Automotive. And once again, this is Downtime with Downstar, episode 192. And we're out. Peace.